What is up, Yugitubers? Your boy Slim is back. I know it's been a while, but here are some new replays. Some exciting stuff. I actually reached master rank for the first time in months. As you can see here with this opening hand, I did it with Gem Knights. Quick story there, I was on Lunalite, but frankly was not finding a lot of success. So I ended up just, well, at one point I tried Goblin Bikers again, but wasn't doing that well with this meta. So I just went to what I feel like is doing best for me, like what's the best fit for me right now. So, and you're seeing I'm running a build with the Heralds again. So here I was able to get this player to stop with just a Fabled Luri on the field. And surprise, surprise, I just went full combo here. I didn't even bother stopping the Maxi. I did use my talent there to check their hand. Got rid of something that I was maybe worried about. I wasn't worried about the nib because I have the Omni Negate in graveyard, and I also have the Herald of the Orange Light in hand, so I knew to keep a fairy in hand at all times to be able to discard and block it. But basically, the reason I chose this build, there was one run, one game I played before this run that I'm showing you here with Gem Knights, but more with an older build that I had, which is more with like Forbidden Chalice, focusing more on breakers than on actually tenderizing my opponent's board before going into my turn. And I was finding it very challenging to break some of these fully established boards in this current meta, so I went with this approach here. So I found some really creative, let's just call it like people who are trying to break the mold a little bit here by going with some rogue decks here, because I was starting in Diamond 3. So here I'm facing Eldlich, which means that there's going to be a lot of floodgates, a lot of heavy trap strategies. And well, once I forced them to use Solemn Judgment, I just started to form my board, because basically I figured I can OTK here, assuming that they can't stop all of my plays. The Tikubu doesn't matter here because I'm able to form Gem Knight monsters with different types. And here they already paid half their life points and had paid before, so it wasn't like a big task to OTK there. Nice smooth win in Diamond 3. Here we go now into the next duel. You can see that this is a new option that I'm running there with Eva, or Ava, however you want to say it. And I'm also running Crystal Rose because it really helps with just getting your play started better by sending Neprum. So I threw the Fua there just to try and get a draw, but they stopped short. Now they're playing the True Sun God, which I admittedly did not read all the way in the moment when it was being played, because I would have focused more attention on popping it or removing it, because I forgot that it means that anything special summoned cannot attack the turn that it's special summoned, which is a bummer because I otherwise would have had an OTK. So yeah, this duel took much longer than it needed to. Now I negate the Soul Crossing there to prevent them from tributing my monsters, and then I go into the other Gem Knights with Master Diamond Dispersion to get the boost from the Hollow Core negate. And I think I'm cooking here, right? I get rid of the King Sark so that they can't pop my monsters. They use some of their effects, and I pop one of their monsters with Rose Diamond. Get an extra body on board, and I think, okay, here I go. Now comes out Master Diamond, do the copy effect, and I'm good to go. But I can't attack, so now I'm thinking, oh great, that means that they're just going to be able to probably get another King Sark and all of that stuff, but they can't. And actually, this is where their own Floodgate kind of works against them, because then anything that they special summon that turn would have been a problem. They wouldn't have been able to attack. Now I'm still trying to get creative here. I was trying to find a way to get my Topaz back in rotation, but unfortunately I didn't have a way to summon it in that moment. and so all I could do is attack once with Master Diamond. Otherwise, that would have been, I'm pretty sure that would have been game right there. But then I left 3 monsters on board, which allows them to sphere mode me, which sucks. And I'm really thinking, how much longer can I go like this? Now, I do some extending here. I get Crystal Rose in rotation, and then I bring out Armadillo. I copy a Gem Knight name. I also get Nepram out. What I should have done is get an extra normal summon there, and then do a little more damage, and then try to do some stuff in the main phase too. And you can see I brought out SP but then I didn't want to get rid of Quartz, so I did something stupid and I just ended up without being able to remove True Sun God. So next turn I attack twice, I set my Forbidden Droplet, and I hope that they can't bring out anything crazy. But it looks like they can, so whatever strategy they were on really was dependent on King Sark, and that's really the only thing saving me right now. So I'm mostly showing this duel just to show a little bit of some luck and sloppy play on my part. But it is important, I guess, when you dig yourself into a hole to be able to dig yourself out of it. So right now they're going to sphere mode me again. And yeah, but all they can do is pass on that. And the funniest finisher move here, Crystal Rose to the face. But hey, a win's a win. We take those. So now I believe we're in Diamond 4 at this point. And you can see here, not the best hand. I mean, I do have negates, and I threw the Max C out there, but that was enough to end their turn. So I'm thinking, okay, well, that backfired pretty badly. I'm just going to try to clear their board as much as I can. All it was an imperm, but nonetheless, I'm trying to just make sure that I can survive until the next possible turn. Now, they're playing the rank 4 engine, and for whatever reason, decide to just scoop it up after that. So I wonder what it was that they needed or couldn't get to. I don't know, maybe they just had to go to the bathroom, but they scoop it up. Again, we take those. Here, they go for the wow, I'm blanking on the name. On the Allure of Darkness, try to draw 2, I negate, and then out comes the branded cards. I was frankly expecting Malice here, but seeing the branded combo and then throwing the Fua down makes them end just on Sanctifier Dragon, which I know what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to bring out Albaz to fuse on my turn and just wipe my board basically, or to bring out a Floodgate monster, but in this case it was going to be Fallen of Albaz. And thankfully I can just use the Herald of the Orange Light there to destroy Sanctifier, because Orange Light does not target, it is just a destruction effect and a negation of the effect. And now without any real threat of theirs on board, I can go ahead and start to build my board. Now, when they bring out Quem, I use Thrust there, and then I get Talons to take control of Quem, because if not, they will be able to do some shenanigans if I bring out a monster from the extra deck, but now that's neutralized. So from here, it's basically home free. I'm basically just trying to get some secure moves there, and then that was a good point move there by bringing out Barone, because I can just easily negate Nibiru and focus on getting my Omni Negate live in Graveyard. They're basically trying to get some cards for follow-up next turn and hoping I can OTK, but once I got my Brilliant Fusion out, this was pretty much game. Also, while I have a moment, I do apologize if the recording is a little choppy here. I think when the video was getting compressed, that maybe it led to things being a little bit slow with the frame rate. But anyway, yeah, this was an interesting duel because it was basically just pass. So here I have a bunch of interruption, but I can't really do anything to start because they're not playing any cards on the field, or any monsters specifically, so I can't use Scatter Fusion. Had it been Brilliant Fusion, it would have been great because then I would have just been able to knock them out right then and there. Anyway, after that pass, I was able to get Nepram out. Now they're gonna Fua, I don't care. Get the Dispersion so I can fuse. I'm going to fuse there with the Gemini Fusion. We'll negate on the Maxi. Bring out Rose Diamond. They do get a draw. And now I'm going to use Dispersion to fuse again. I have my Omni live, and I'm going to get a monster out so I can send it for Lady Brilliant Diamond's effect. Now here, this is important, that effect can be used again even though I negated it. So it was important for me to not give them another chance. So I just bring out Topaz, because with the boost from the Hollow Core, that's 44 from the Brilliant Diamond, and then 36 with Topaz. So just enough to hit lethal right on the nose. Not a great hand here. I mean, actually, I have a starter, but I have one interruption, but thankfully I'm playing Yubel. And so the choke point there is basically Samsara. I have to make sure I use Imperm on the summon, and not when they try to use the effect, because it tributes for cost. So that worked out well. They couldn't play through that. And they Ash Blossom the Scatter Fusion, which is fine because I was bait. Now I can use the Crystal Rose to kickstart my plays via the discard. They will droll me, but at this point it's too late. I have the monster I need in hand. I have Quartz, the main deck Quartz, which then allows me to get Brilliant Fusion. I will fuse. I get into Brilliant Rose Diamond. I make the link, and everything from here is kind of just typical Gem Knight OTK. But again, you're showing here that you can play through both an Ash and a Droll. And it shows what they bricked on. So they had just too many hand traps to be able to play through the interruption of the Imperm on Samsara Lotus. And here, more than enough to do the job here against Yubel. I was hoping they didn't have a Yubel in hand, or else I would have had to get creative there. But I did have one monster on board that could just, my detonator at home, basically. Here I have a solid hand. I have to basically choose between a spell or a monster negate along with the Imperm. They're playing the Onomat cards. I played this a little weird. I frankly should have stopped getting the second rank level 4 on board, so they couldn't go into a rank 4 because the Gaga girl sends for cost. But right here, when they go into the Utopic cards, they think they're still ending on a solid board because Draco Future is pretty strong, and they have Nib that they get through Gallant Granite. This was certainly a choice because I figure usually rank 4 combo cards can go into stronger boards, but there's no Baguska anymore here in Master Duel. So anyway, I'm trying to bait the negate from Draco Future. Now I use Scatter Fusion, get a card out, and this is where Eva really comes into play, because then they start to try to negate it. I'll send Hollow Core, negate that, and again I'm off to the races here now. Now I will get Nepram out, get the draw. We'll send now I forgot here that I was locked into Gem Knight special summons from the extra deck, so the Diviner send was irrelevant at this point. I should have kept the Herald in hand. That way I could negate a monster effect, but it didn't matter. I have an Omni in graveyard, it's live, and here I can just go for the typical OTK. So see, I negate the Nibiru. Something that's important here is that they did have a monster in grave, the Saga card, or whatever that card is, the Utopia card. They could banish it in order to prevent destruction. So, but I had enough that I could just do piercing and then destroy it with Master Diamond. So mostly showcasing that one for educational purposes again, because there was a cleaner way to play that, or at least being aware of it, but it didn't matter. Here I'm facing Mitsurugi, so getting into the more meta matchups here as I'm in the higher ranks of Diamond. Now I waited till Mirakumo was going to come back from grave so I could use the Herald negate, and again sending Nepram and then using Nepram's effect to discard Eva gave me so much advantage here. And then I had a spell negate with Herald of the Green Light, and that really just stopped their combo cold because they already used their Mitsurugi ritual card. They try to droll me here on my turn, but at this point it's way too late. I have enough to go into anything I need. They're not drawing anymore. So basically the only thing I'm looking out for is something that they could trigger from hand, but I can't think of anything at that moment that they can do so with, that they could do that with. and I now have my my Omni Negate live. So Nibiru was the only concern, and boom, negated. And at that point, they scoop it up. So this is what I'm talking about with the Herald cards, that you're getting a lot of advantage too. So even though in a vacuum you might think, yeah, you're sending 2 cards there to negate 1, but if you send the right cards, like if you send Neprum, and then if you have Eva in hand, you're actually gaining a solid amount of advantage. Now, this one I'm showing you here is a loss. I tried to imperm there here against White Forest. That was probably incorrect. I should have saved the imperm maybe for this card here. But I think no matter what, I was in trouble because they're going to be able to make a card that, one of the Diabel cards that protects all of their monsters from destruction. So, even if, yeah, I was basically, I had nothing to do here. What I would have liked to have been able to do was just to maybe clear back row or negate, but they had enough that they could just interrupt me because they're going to make Ilya Silva and then make the Barone the floor. And again, with the Diabel cards, they're going to have protection. So this is really just a matter of not having enough. And it happens. You're going to lose. You're not going to draw everything you need in hand. So yeah, there's the Diabelese that's going to protect them. So I don't know, you let me know in the comments if there was a better way to play that with the Imperm, like what to use it on, or if I should have just held it for my turn. And then here on the draw, I don't even get a starter. The only thing I have in hand that can go off is Brilliant Fusion. But aside from that, there's nothing else I could do. Once they used their Omni Negate, I scooped it up. So, okay. Took a loss here, but we press on. This is actually not a great opening hand, but for some reason this person scoops right away. So again, we take the win and we move on. Free wins are always nice. We have a good opening hand here. It looks like we're facing Ryzeal, which probably means that there's a Mitsurugi in there somewhere. I use the Herald of the Arc Light, of the Orange Light here, send Neprum, and then use the Neprum effect to get itself out and get a card, and they scoop it up at that point. So I guess for whatever reason, like they just couldn't extend past that. But this is just showing you the power of that interruption, where again, because you're taking a body off the board too from the monster effect, it really means a lot to their strategy. Now here I'm facing Nouvelles. I thought that by using Imperm there on the Diviner of the Herald would be a good choice there. I had another Imperm in hand too, and then I used the Fua. I was only able to get 1 extra draw off there, but as you can see, it was pretty huge because I got a card that can help me. And I still have 1 interruption left in hand. I'm not gonna lie though, this deck is actually solidly strong because they have a lot of things that they can do on your turn to interrupt you. For one, when that effect triggers that it turns your monster into attack mode, they can trigger other effects off of that, and you're going to be taking burn damage, as well as the fact that they can tribute your monsters too. Now, because I had Duster in hand, I was able to bait their Omni Negate counter trap card, which is great. This allows me to start to build the board, but they're going to, again, right there, change it to attack mode, change its level, which could be important for certain decks. And now they're going to be able to trigger an effect that allows them to tribute my monsters. And ordinarily, that would be actually like a pretty big problem because boom, there goes my board. But one, that allows me to have Imperm live again, so I use it to negate their monster. They do droll me, but again, I have the monster I need already in hand, so I send Quartz, get Brilliant Fusion, and at this point, there's nothing they can do unless they have something that activates in hand, like, well, I think if they had Ash there, I was really toast, but they did not, fortunately. And now, even if they try to bring out Nibiru, I have the out. Bring out Dispersion. Yeah, and this is just typical Gem Knight OTK combo. Because here I'm going to be able to just beat over their monsters, their defense. And and it's GG, shake my hand, my friend. But this was one of the that was one of the more challenging ones in the run, really, because they were able to establish a board. Here into the next duel, we have pretty strong opening hand because I have a negate with shuffler. But actually, okay, so this is a duel against Blue Eyes where I played that so wrong. I figured maybe they were trying to bait my negate out with the Maiden, but I should have used the effect there to stop Maiden from setting or from placing True Light. Because without that, then you're looking at them setting, rather going into the Link, into Spirit, and then if they send Blue Eyes and try to special summon it, I could have used the Shuffler to send it back into the deck, and it would have slowed their plays down a lot here. And I was banking on trying to be able to just to negate their Synchro and then to Brilliant Fusion for game. If they don't have Ash there, it's over, but actually not even. I forgot about the fact that they had, well, yeah, even with without Ash, they were still able to pop Brilliant Fusion, and I would have been toast. So this was really just me being too conservative with my resources there. I should have just used it right away. Like, you take the risk there that maybe they have extension, but if not, then at least it puts you in a better position to gain advantage, as opposed to them still being able to build up a board and have plays. But that was the last loss in the run. From here is just a straight shot to master. So, yep, we're playing against Fiendsmith here. It's actually, I think it's Fiendsmith Mitsu. But when I drop the Maxi, oh, sorry, actually it's not Mitsu. It's going first Gem Knights. You'll see the deck list there. So, but once I was able to get all that draw power and negate the Fiendsmith combo, that's it. They couldn't do anything else. And then 2 on board, 1 card in hand unknown. So I scatter fusion, trying to bait out any negates, get my detonator at home, and they scoop it up. And I was wondering why, but then when I look at the deck list here, which you'll see in a second, and there it is, it's actually kind of similar to my build, just more focused with like Tearlament and Fiendsmith bolstering Gem Knight. They're using Gem Knight more as an engine to be able to go into Tear and Fiendsmith and on a lot of negates. So once they saw my Gem Knight, I guess they realized that they were about to get OTK'd and scooped it up. Now here we go into the final duel of the run against Ogdoadic, of all things. Although I realized then, obviously it's probably Ogdoadic mixed with Mitsurugi. Oh, and quick note, that last duel, that person was on the relegation game, so they were coming down from Master 5. So my apologies, good friend, but it's eat or be eaten here. So here, I'm seeing that with the Ogdoadic cards, they go into the Alien combo. So I'm guessing they didn't have enough in hand to be able to go into the Mitsurugi combo, and they just have the alien strategy where basically they're just putting alien counters on all my monsters, and then they can't attack, they get switched to defense mode. But because I had Forbidden Droplet, I prevent my monsters from getting counters added to them. Or sorry, they get the counters added to them because of the trap, but then the Link cannot turn them into defense mode. I see their hand with talons. I send back the Ash because I'm not afraid of Nibiru. And they have no other effects that they can trigger here either, so I just, again, now it's basically regular Gem Knight OTK. An interesting way to go into Master 5 rank, but again, happy that it worked out here. And looking forward to climbing in Master rank before the season ends. We'll see if I can get to new heights here. I think the highest I've ever reached is Master 4. So looking forward to maybe reaching 3, 2, and maybe 1. We'll see. But anyway, those are the replays. I hope you all enjoyed. Comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I really enjoyed interacting with you all in the comments, so keep it up. Would love to learn more from you all or hear what you have to say about my gameplay, my style, all of that. So don't be shy, reach out. And here just showing the actual transition as you see the change there, go to Master 5. Yeah. That being said, stay tuned for next time. Hope all is well there. You can see my deck list here. And yeah, happy holidays, y'all.